Donkey Kong Bonanza is an overrated game, in my opinion. After rolling the credits, two things became very apparent when playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. First and foremost, it is a great platformer and it is a must play game for Nintendo Switch 2 owners. However, the other apparent thing is this game is overrated, so let's get into it. First and foremost, when you play Donkey Kong Bonanza, it is obvious that the game is a good looking game. It looks great. The physics is fantastic. The amount of particle effects that are on screen is really great. But most importantly, the game's worlds and level design. The worlds are different from one to another, which all give a different feel and different set of challenges. But the destruction that goes through the game is incredibly amazing to see when it comes to a level design perspective. Because unlike traditional platformers where you have to follow a set path and there's only one way to go about it, Donkey Kong Bonanza gives you the freedom to destroy everything you see for the most part. There are certain parts of the levels that you cannot destroy, but in general, you can go through pretty much anything. And this is great from a level design perspective, and it's really amazing to see how they managed to pull this off. When it comes to the game's audio, the audio is really good as well. The musical score is good for what you would expect for a Donkey Kong game, but also the way like Pauline herself, the voice acting of Pauline is done really good. She really does take over the game in terms of audio, especially since she also sings as well. And it's a real highlight in my opinion when it comes to Donkey Kong's audio. But what about the gameplay? As you've probably noticed by now and know about Donkey Kong Bonanza, the gameplay is fun and addicting. Right? You can destroy pretty much everything that is on screen, and most importantly, the amount of collectibles that are here in Donkey Kong is absolutely astounding. It probably has one of the most collectibles I have seen in a platformer in a very long time. If you have OCD when it comes to collectibles and you have to collect everything, Donkey Kong will satisfy your OCD needs as you play through the game. Because almost every time you smash into something, once you use your sonar pulse, you'll see something else. There's always a new coin, a new banana, a new item, a new relic, always something new to find throughout your path of destruction. As you go through the worlds and the environments, there's always something to collect. So for people who have OCD, who have to collect anything or everything in a game, Donkey Kong Bonanza will definitely satisfy your urges. When it comes to combat in Donkey Kong, the combat is pretty simple as well. You do just smash pretty much everything with the exception of bosses. Now, bosses are a little bit different. They do have their own mechanics and ways you have to go about them, but they're pretty simple as well. When it comes to the customization of Donkey Kong, there's two things to be mindful of. First and foremost, you have a skill tree. As you collect 5 bananas, you will earn a skill point for every 5 that you collect. And as you get skill points, you will use them to unlock skills or attributes to make Donkey Kong stronger. Of course, this is just one aspect of the customization. The other aspect comes in the form of costumes. You can get costumes for both Donkey Kong and Pauline, and the costumes not only provide a cosmetic change to both characters, but it also provides certain passive buffs. Buffs could be increased Bananza time. Other buffs could be like a resistance to like poison damage, etc. So they're not just cosmetics. They also serve a functional purpose. Now, that's pretty much the great of Donkey Kong. It plays well. It looks good. You get a solid 15 to 20 hours, so it is a lengthy play style. And overall, it's a great game to play. But Donkey Kong Bonanza is not perfect. And it is these 3 things that I'm about to list that make Donkey Kong Bonanza overrated. First and foremost, let's get to the first one. Performance. Donkey Kong Bonanza, while it looks great and plays great, the performance is too inconsistent for my liking. As someone who plays lots of games at 60 FPS or above, especially on PC, Donkey Kong Bonanza did have a lot of frame drops that I've noticed. Most notably, when you open up the map, you'll instantly see a frame drop in the map, which, to be honest, it's not that big of a deal because it is just the map. However, when you're actually playing the game and you blow a lot of stuff up at once and you got all the coins and gold funneling in, I notice the frame drops very often. They're not long. They're not long. And it's not that they bother me in terms of a gameplay standpoint. It bothers me in terms of it just gets annoying and it's a distraction. And I'm okay with a frame drop once in a blue moon, but in Donkey Kong Bonanza, at least in my experience, I noticed quite a bit of frame drops that it was distracting, and it kind of annoys me with the game's overall presentation. The second issue I had with the game comes in the form of the difficulty in general. The difficulty in this game is pretty easy, to be honest with you. Even the boss battles are a disappointment for me. It's every aspect of Donkey Kong Bonanza, while fun and great, and I understand that it is catered towards a younger audience, it is still too easy in my opinion. At least with other platformer games, the main campaign may be easy, and it is the side content that is the more challenging content for those who want something more challenging. But to me, playing through Donkey Kong, I didn't find it challenging at all. And while that's great for a younger audience, I take a notch off on my book just because it was the difficulty being as easy as it is, regardless of your platforming or fighting a boss. It kind of took a little bit of the fun away because it made the fun a little boring because I wasn't being challenged. Which brings me to the third and final issue. While Donkey Kong Bonanza is a great game and a must play for the Switch, I do feel like it's a little too long for its own good. And that is mainly because, without spoiling anything, the last sections of the game are absolutely fantastic, and it's really when the game comes together. It just takes like 15 hours or so to get to that point. So it's like you get 2 hours of amazing fun at the end of the game, but you got to go through 15 to get to that amazing fun. And while that 15 is fun, there's a significant contrast level between the two, and I just feel like the game would have been better paced had it been a little bit shorter, if you trimmed off about 5 hours. So those are the three main issues I had with regards to Donkey Kong Bonanza. So is it a great must-play Switch 2 title? Absolutely, and I do recommend it for all Switch 2 owners. Is it the leader for Game of the Year? Not in my opinion. In my opinion, there are other contenders that are better suited for a Game of the Year victory over Donkey Kong Bonanza. So overall, I do recommend it. I think it's a great game, but I do think it's overrated, and that is just my opinion. Overall, I'm giving Donkey Kong Bonanza an 8.5 out of 10. This is Veteran Gamer, and I hope to see you guys next time.